So this year, what's holding you back? Motivational speaker and author Michelle Weger joins us now with tips from her book, Don't Snooze Your Dreams. Thanks so much for joining us. You did not start out to become a motivational speaker.
My big plan was to be a doctor, but not just any doctor, a neurosurgeon.
And you were actually at university.
I was in a very prestigious program that only accepted 10 students per year. I was on the track to success and making all my dreams come true.
And then?
And then one day I fell asleep on a microscope. Looking into it, woke up with 2 black eyes and total confusion because I had no idea why or how that happened.
And eventually you were diagnosed with narcolepsy.
Indeed.
Which is why you have your service dog with you.
Absolutely. It took 5 years from that point to figure out why I kept falling asleep randomly.
And that diagnosis kind of changed so much of your course of your career, how you were living your life kind of thing, and it kind of set you on the journey that's led to, you know, you being on speaking engagements and your book.
Absolutely. You can't really be a neurosurgeon if there's a chance of falling asleep in the ER. So my big dreams were shattered overnight, and I had to think of a completely new plan. So I looked at what skills I had, what things I was good at and was interested in, and went into business in the end.
Right, and your business is you run websites and then it's the speaking as well and motivating people because and you started off from a point of, you know, I'm kind of, you hid what you had. You hid your diagnosis.
I did. Once I was diagnosed and I started this at the time little business, as it grew, I became more and more afraid to have people find out my dirty little secret. I thought if people found out I was different, that they would not trust me anymore. They wouldn't want to work with me. And so the more success I had, the more aggressively I was hiding who I really was.
And tell me about the moment that changed.
I made an error when booking a flight and ended up having to go to a conference with my service dog. So we walked in and I was fully prepared to hear horrible comments, to lose my clients, for it to be a terrible experience, and instead the opposite happened. People started disclosing their own secrets because I was essentially a flashing neon "I'm different" sign because of the large service dog.
Right, and then you realize, and that's one of the tips in your book, is kind of to identify what makes you different.
Yeah.
And to use that, be proud of it.
Yeah, different is better than better is a saying I really like, because each of us have differences and they're actually our strengths, but only if we're not afraid of hiding them.
And fear is another big thing that you talk about. You talk about the difference between physical fear and societal fear.
Indeed. So I call them physical versus social fears. The vast majority of things that we're afraid of are actually social fears. Things like speaking in public, asking for a raise, going to an event where you don't know anybody. These things feel terrifying, as scary as, say, skydiving or sharks.
They feel life-threatening almost, right?
Absolutely, but when we really peel back the layers, they're what I call paper dinosaurs. They feel and seem enormous and terrifying, but in reality, they're harmless, because the worst thing that can happen is embarrassment. That's it. No physical harm, no death, embarrassment.
You've got a great example in there of being afraid, and I so identified with this. You've got all these coloring books. You don't want to use them because you don't like the way you color. And I'm like, I'm okay with coloring, but it's like, I'm not going to finish it, so I'm afraid of not finishing. And I'm like, that is such a silly fear.
And I bet there's lots of people watching right now thinking to themselves, oh, I have a bunch of coloring books too, because I'm afraid if I start, it won't be good enough. Or what if I don't like it? Or what if I don't finish? Who cares?
So what? So what? Okay, we've got about 20 seconds left. Where can people get your book?
Don't Snooze Your Dreams, Lessons from Life with Narcolepsy can be bought everywhere books are sold. So that's Indigo, Amazon, Walmart, anywhere you can get a book.
Great inspiration in there. Thanks so much for coming in, and we'll get the links up on our website at chch.com/morninglive.